Today's little adventure is to really just train Paynie. I have not taken the boat out completely by myself yet from this location, Chatham. And it's a nice day today. So I think the task at hand is to take the boat out. It's very easy to just get lazy and complacent and stay in the same place, because if you stay in the same place, you can't do any damage to anything. You can't break the boat. Nothing can go wrong because you're in the same place. But that's not what we're after here. We're after a little bit of risk, a little bit of crazy, I don't know. But so this is what I'm doing today. Just taking the boat out. I'm gonna go out through the lock, up or down the river. I'm going to try and tie off to a buoy by myself because I haven't done that before, or maybe drop anchor if I have to. Sit around for an hour or two just doing stuff, and then go back to Chatham Marina, because if I don't start doing more of this, I'll be sat on a boat right here for a long time, and that's not very adventurous. I also have some good news. My little channel just hit 1,000 subscribers. So thank you very, very much. And if you're not a subscriber yet, can you hit that little button down there? Okay, what I think I've done is drop an anchor. I'm trying to set some bearings. You sort of do a little triangulation thing. I think I am drifting, actually. It's difficult to tell. Yeah, for some reason the anchor is not catching, so I'm going to pull it up and move on. What I've done is let out enough anchor, which is about 5 times the depth from the bottom of the keel down to the bottom of the river. And now I'm just letting it settle to see if that's enough, or if the silt is still not able to hold the anchor. It's not a particularly good anchor for silt. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of, again, triangulating my position, like this way and that way, so that so long as these two positions don't move, then I know that the boat's not moving, because we are still in a tidal river, and the wind is blowing as well. So we'll see. I want to be very careful I don't fall off, because that would just be really embarrassing. And I'm going to turn the engines off here until I know that the anchor is set. Once I know the anchor's set and we're not moving, then I can turn off the engines. You really are at down to the elements here. It's kind of weird. I mean, it's not like pulling into a parking lot at a supermarket and just putting on the handbrake. What am I doing? I'm gonna tell you now the anchor is set. That's a first. I have never gone out of a marina or port or anything and dropped an anchor and turned off my engines. If boating were cooking, This is about the equivalent of making like beans on toast, or maybe just cornflakes in the morning. Here you can see our next high tide is in just 5 minutes, and we're right at the peak of the high tide, almost. I've set the line for 2 meters between the bottom of the keel and the bottom of the estuary. So if it drops below 2 meters, an alarm goes off and I can pull out. I'm going to watch it anyway, but I'm just testing things. Nothing's changed apart from the fact that we're not at the marina and I can't connect to the iPhone. It's like, I guess it's a bit like Burning Man, where like everything works when you're in wherever in town, and as soon as you get out to the desert, you're like, fuck, why wouldn't it work? And I just decided to make some food, and of course, just when you wanted to, the gas runs out. So I have another gas canister, but it's just weird that for months you've never run out of gas, and then when you do something and you need gas, bam, no gas. Anyway, I got a spare. I think I've got a spare anyway. Let me see. Okay. I think one thing that is important that I didn't really do on this trip was spend a good half hour, maybe an hour, making sure the boat is all in good order, because you don't want it to go wrong when you're out there somewhere, because that would just be chaotic, and you don't want chaos. You want nice, orderly things that don't go wrong. I mean, I knew the gas was going to run out, so I did have a spare. And I'm going to celebrate my little adventure with some chips, fries, and a alcohol-free beer, because I'm going to have this is my second week of like lowering my alcohol content. I guess it is right. Lowering my alcohol intake, just because. Okay, lunch has been had. I've flown the drone. I've hung out a little bit. I did get connected to the internet for a while, but now it's stopped again, so fuck that shit. The only thing I have to do now is pull up the anchor. Marina's about 2 miles that way. Take me about 20 minutes, half an hour. And I think it's been very successful. That means I gotta run the generator for a bit. I think there's actually something wrong with the charger on the boat. It doesn't seem to charge the batteries up properly. So here's the little conundrum now, is we are in slightly shallow water, tide is going out, and I can't start the engines until they charge up. We're okay, I'm not that worried, but a couple of minutes on charge and you can see how things go wrong really quickly. It's not, if one thing goes wrong, you're okay. It's when multiple things go wrong when you're not expecting it and you get the perfect storm. Building right there is one of the buildings right next to where my mooring is, but we have to go over there first and then around that way until we get into the mooring, which will be in about 10 minutes. The scariest bit was coming back into Chatham Marina through the lock, because I've got 10 or 15 knots of wind blowing south to north. I've got 4 or 5 knots of tide going south to north. And I've got to hit the exact lock entrance. So you kind of got to crab like they do if you're landing at some airport with a heavy crosswind, and then swing it round at the last minute. But once you're committed to going ahead and punching it through the lock gates, you're committed. If you stop, the momentum of the boat will carry you forward, and you're going to hit the north side of the lock gate, and that would just be really ugly. I don't even know what you'd do at that point, because the tide would be pushing you against it quite hard. You would do damage.